Hi, I'm Neil Snape and I'm going to show you how I edit beauty images in Lightroom directly so that I can save time with final pixel level editing in Photoshop. It's really easy, it's very visual, it's fast, and it's fun. So subscribe to my channel to keep up with the next upcoming tutorials, and I'll see you there. Once you've selected your images, you can go directly to the develop module, which is here, or press D, which is the shortcut. The first things that I do when I'm in Lightroom is I reduce the radius down a little bit with good lenses. You don't need such high. I enable the profiles for the lenses, and then Command 1 will take me back up to the first panel. And you can see from the image that it's too yellow, so we'll have to adjust the white balance. Try to pick an area that's white or gray and neutral, and when you click on it you can see maybe it went a little bit too far. So you can click in a field and use your arrow keys for fine adjustments without using the slider. And if you use the slider, it'll be a lot faster anyways. Then go down to your exposure, overall exposure, and you can see maybe I'll make it a little bit brighter. Why is that? Because there was some room left in the histogram to move around. You don't need to just reduce the contrast a little bit in beauty pictures. It always helps. Now the highlights, I might go up a little bit, but not so far that you get color contouring. And these are the shadow areas in the picture which you can move around. I don't think I want to go too much. Actually, it's quite lively when it's there. So I'll just leave it there. These are the black and the white clipping. And with those, I sometimes move the black clipping up a little bit. In clarity, in this picture, I don't think you want to add too much clarity because it's going to make the skin go a little bit too contrasty and too many bumps. Vibrance is actually the light tone saturation, and in this case, since there's a lot of color in their skin, I will take that down a little bit. If you want. One of the things I didn't say, if you click on any name, it takes it back to 0. This one will reset if I double click there, all settings. And that's done. Now if I go to Command 2, then I can further adjust my actual tone curves for the values in the image. I took up the light zones just a bit, but rather than leaving them at the default start point for the white and the black, or light and darks, I actually move this over and spread them out so it's more towards the toe and the heel of the curves. I will take my blacks down a little bit, and my darks I might just go up so it's a little bit less contrast. That's looking very good. Now if I go to my color panel, you'll see that I work in the all, which is different than HSL. I know that the skin tones are essentially comprised of red, orange, yellow, and we'll actually maybe lighten the reds, and that you can see that the reds are actually in the lips, mostly in the lips, and it actually looks good on her when it's a little bit lighter. But I think I'll take out the orange that's in the lips, so I went a little bit more magenta. I don't have to change the saturation. Orange, you can see that there's a lot of orange in her skin, so I will go just a little bit lighter to make that more pure, and that's fine. Yellows, there's not much. You can see that it just changes just in the shadow areas just a tiny bit, but you can't make a hole in the image, so those two, don't go too fast. Now blues and greens, I'm not sure how much is in there. You can see it's in the background and a little bit in the eyes, so I can make it a little bit lighter, and that'll be fine. I can actually change the saturation if I want a little bit more color in the eyes. If you go to Command 4, it takes you to split toning, which we're not going to do. That's fine. And go back to Command 1. And if I press here, it'll take me to, or press your K, which is the adjustment tool. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to exposure, and I'm going to add slightest bit of exposure here, and I followed the light where it naturally occurred in the image. I will get a little bit bigger. I might add a new, and that's looking wonderful. Sometimes I like to add light where it wouldn't have been easily be possible without dodging and burning. I'm just making that a little bit lighter, and it's looking wonderful. Sometimes you have to go there and there. Now, we can add a new one, and we'll take the exposure, in this case, down a little bit, just to add a little bit of depth. Oh, that's too much, so we're going to take this down, and I might even just see what happens as the contrast goes up. And I like to do that under the chin as well. Doesn't look good under the chin, so if you press minus, you can actually erase whatever you need to do. Now I will do one more in the eyes, and this time I will go a lot bigger, but I will go to clarity. I will increase the clarity, increase the highlights. It becomes custom, so you can actually save this as a preset. And we'll see what happens when I just draw in the eyes. It's looking very good. Wonderful. Now, other than that, they've added something in LightRoom 5 which is very, very useful. It's what we always wanted. And it's actually a clone brush that you can take out spots individually. Oops. And you can actually draw it in the shape that you want it to be. And I'll say that it'll look better there than before. There was a larger surface here that I wanted to take out, and I can actually hold down Command and tell it where I want it to replace. And that's about it. I will take this one down again, go back to my brush, and I'm going to change this to etc., etc., etc. And that's done. Now you can get back to the normal speed, and I can go back to the grid mode. I can take my two images, press compare, press tab, and you can see the differences before and after. And that's how I do my editing in Lightroom. I send off the images to Photoshop for the things that are better done in Photoshop, like pixel level editing, moving some things around, and some usually just a slight bit of dodging and burning that I can do in Lightroom, but I have a script set up in Photoshop. It just makes it a little bit faster. I save the image, it returns to the Lightroom catalog, and then I make a virtual copy and I add some final tweaks to the image, which it's then ready for publication and exporting with different presets. That'll be for an upcoming video. Stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, and see you again.